Southlake, Texas, a top administrator with the Carroll Independent School District in Southlake advised teachers last week that if they have a book about the Holocaust in their classroom, they should also offer students access to a book from an opposing perspective, according to an audio recording obtained by NBC. Gina Petty, the Carroll School District's Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction, made the comment Friday afternoon during a training session on which books teachers can have in classroom libraries. The training came 4 days after the Carroll School Board, responding to a parent's complaint, voted to reprimand a fourth-grade teacher who had kept an anti-racism book in her classroom. A Carroll staff member secretly recorded the Friday training and shared the audio with NBC News. "Just try to remember the concepts of House Bill 3979, Petty said in the recording, referring to a new Texas law that requires teachers to present multiple perspectives when discussing widely debated and currently controversial issues. And make sure that if you have a book on the Holocaust," Petty continued, "that you have one that has an opposing, that has other perspectives." "How do you oppose the Holocaust?" one teacher said in response. "Believe me," Petty said, "that's come up. Listen, Southlake teachers shocked by advice to balance Holocaust books with opposing views." October 14, 200-2102-01. Another teacher wondered aloud if she would have to pull down Number the Stars by Lois Lowry, or other historical novels that tell the story of the Holocaust from the perspective of victims. It's not clear if Petty heard the question in the commotion or if she answered. Petty did not respond to messages requesting comment. In a written response to a question about Petty's remarks, Carroll spokeswoman Karen Fitzgerald said the district is trying to help teachers comply with the new state law on an updated version that will go into effect in December. Texas Senate Bill 3. "Our district recognizes that all Texas teachers are in a precarious position with the latest legal requirements," Fitzgerald wrote, noting that the district's interpretation of the new Texas law requires teachers to provide balanced perspectives not just during classroom instruction, but in the books that are available to students in class during free time. "Our purpose is to support our teachers in ensuring they have all of the professional development resources and materials needed. Our district has not and will not mandate books be removed, nor will we mandate that classroom libraries be unavailable." Fitzgerald said that teachers who are unsure about a specific book should visit with their campus principal, campus team and curriculum coordinators about appropriate next steps. Clay Robison, a spokesman for the Texas State Teachers Association, a union representing educators, said there's nothing in the new Texas law explicitly dealing with classroom libraries. Robison said the book guidelines at Carroll, a suburban school district near Fort Worth, are an overreaction and a misinterpretation of the law. 3 other Texas education policy experts agreed. "We find it reprehensible for an educator to require a Holocaust denier to get equal treatment with the facts of history," Robison said. "That's absurd. It's worse than absurd, and this law does not require it." State Senator Brian Hughes, an East Texas Republican who wrote Senate Bill 3, denied that the law requires teachers to provide opposing views on what he called matters of good and evil, or to get rid of books that offer only one perspective on the Holocaust. "That's not what the bill says," Hughes said in an interview Wednesday when asked about the Carroll book guidelines. "I'm glad we can have this discussion to help elucidate what the bill says, because that's not what the bill says." 6 Carroll teachers, including 4 who were in the room to hear Petty's remarks, spoke to NBC News on the condition of anonymity, worried that they would be punished for discussing their concerns publicly. They said district leaders have sent mixed messages about which books are appropriate in classrooms and what actions they should be taking. "Teachers are literally afraid that we're going to be punished for having books in our classes," an elementary school teacher said. "There are no children's books that show the opposing perspective of the Holocaust or the opposing perspective of slavery. Are we supposed to get rid of all of the books on those subjects?" A Carroll ISD teacher hung caution tape in front of the books in a classroom after the new guidelines were circulated, obtained by NBC News. Carroll Superintendent Lane Ledbetter later posted on the Facebook page of Carroll ISD that comments made during the conversation with teachers in last week's meeting were in no way to convey that the Holocaust was anything less than a terrible event in history. "Additionally, we recognize there are not 2 sides of the Holocaust," he wrote in the post. "As we continue to work through implementation of HB House Bill 3979, we also understand this bill does not require an opposing viewpoint on historical facts," he added, referring to the new Texas law. Ledbetter said that the district would work to add clarity to its expectations for teachers. The debate in Southlake over which books should be allowed in schools is part of a broader national movement led by parents opposed to lessons on racism, history and LGBTQ issues that some conservatives have falsely branded as critical race theory. A group of Southlake parents has been fighting for more than a year to block new diversity and inclusion programs at Carroll, one of the top-ranked school districts in Texas. Late last year, one of those parents complained when her daughter brought home a copy of This Book is Anti-Racist by Tiffany Jewell from her 4th grade teacher's class library. The mother also complained about how the teacher responded to her concerns. Carroll administrators investigated and decided against disciplining the teacher. But last week, on October 4th, the Carroll School Board voted 3-2 to overturn the district's decision and formally reprimanded the teacher, setting off unease among Carroll teachers who said they fear the board won't protect them if a parent complains about a book in their class. Teachers grew more concerned last Thursday, October 7th, when Carroll administrators sent an email directing them to close their classroom libraries until they can be vetted by the teacher. Another email sent to teachers that day included a rubric that asked them to grade books based on whether they provide multiple perspectives and to set aside any that present singular, dominant narratives in such a way that it may be considered offensive. In a statement, Fitzgerald, the district spokeswoman, said the training session was planned weeks ago in response to the new Texas law and was not related to the school board's vote to reprimand a teacher. Fitzgerald acknowledged that the timing of the board's disciplinary vote and the release of new class library guidelines caused confusion and worry among teachers. But the district's inconsistent messaging to staff members and parents since then has also caused confusion, teachers said.